Hello, everyone. My name again is Dustin Angell, and I am the education coordinator right here at Archbold Biological Station. The title of this talk is Partnering with Local Businesses to Overcome Visitor Obstacles and Expand Your Reach. And it would be really great if we could all leave here feeling like we're going to go and do that when we get home. During the talk, I'm going to go through a partnership that we started this summer here. But really what the talk is about is it's about you thinking of this as a jumping off point for yourself and for your organizations. At the end of this, I'm going to turn it back to you and give you a few minutes to think about how your organization could do this same thing. There's a short 4-minute video that's part of this. First, I'll start off with a little bit of background, show the video, go through the different aspects of how we overcame visitor obstacles, and then we'll have that kind of discussion time. So, Archbold Biological Station is a great place for environmental education. We've been here for 74 years, researching and promoting conservation and doing education. When I have an education program, I have a lot I can draw from. I'm going to talk about summer camp, and when we have summer camp here, it's really great because we have a whole week to show these kids around instead of just 2.5 hours. With a whole week, we can get into all kinds of things. In the picture here, we have photos from some of the different properties that we either own or manage. We work both in the pristine Florida habitats like this ancient Florida scrub preserve we're on right now, but we also take a field trip to the working wildlands of our cattle ranch that's about 10 miles east of here. The campers get to meet many of our scientists. They get to get really dirty and really sweaty and go explore seasonal ponds and just really get a VIP experience at Archbold and get just a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be a field biologist here. We've been doing different kinds of education programs for many decades, but the summer camp goes back almost 25 years. Very successful. It's grown over the years, and we have a lot of families that come back year after year after year. Some kids will start coming when they're 7 years old, when they first are eligible. They'll go until they're 12. Then they age out. They come back as teenagers, all the way through high school. And then this summer, my summer intern was a girl, a local girl, who started coming when she was 7, and she was even back as the intern, and she's going to Gulf Coast University as a biologist, studying biology right now. So it's a really successful camp in many ways, but not in all ways. We have a perennial problem with our camp. Probably a lot of people have a similar problem, which is the people that you've been reaching, they're there, they're easy to reach, and you're getting them all the time. But there are all these other people in your community that you just have a really hard time reaching. And for us, that's lower income families, underrepresented communities. It costs $150 to come to our camp. It's free. If you send us a thing from your school saying that you get free or reduced lunches, that's great. It's free. We think we'd have tons of kids coming for free because in this area, that includes a lot of kids. That's not what happens. We might have 10 kids a summer sign up for that, and then only about half of them even show up. It's really unfortunate. So we came up with this idea this summer to partner with a local I'm going to put the video up. We put a partnership together with a business that's just a couple miles down the road, Delray Plants. It's a plant nursery, if you go to Home Depot around here, you'll see their name on the side of the plants. They have about 300 workers. About 297 of them are Hispanic workers, mostly Mexican workers. These families are our neighbors right here, but how many of them do you think have ever been to Archbold? 0, right? If their kids are in the public school, they'll visit once for a field trip in 4th grade, but that's it. But since we were able to partner with Delray, they could talk to those parents, translate material into Spanish for us, and work with us to identify obstacles, and we could customize things so we could overcome those obstacles. So, Anna, let's put on our 4-minute video.
Did you know plants could move?
No.
Well, most of them don't move very much.
It's moving.
Look, watch. Just pet it like that, and it closes.
Oh, yeah.
You can try. Look, there's a whole bunch of them over here.
I was driving into Archbold one evening, and as usual, the workforce from our neighbouring Delray Plants, it's a nursery down the road, were coming out of work. Zoom, 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 zoom. And I remember thinking, we've just had the perfect opportunity right at our own doorstep. Here's a wonderful, hard-working workforce, and maybe this was the chance for us to connect with them and provide a special camp for the children from Delray Plants.
Hillary called and said she had an opportunity. There was no question that we were interested. It was going to be difficult for a regular, traditional 9 to 3 camp. Right away, they created a 7:30 to 4:30 camp so that the employees could drop the kids off on the way to work, pick them up on the way home. So that's the type of collaboration that we have with Archbold.
A blazing
We have it
star.
on our list?
Do you have flower on your list?
Yep.
Because you see they look like little stars.
A plant with soft, tender leaves.
See some birds?
Oh, another chemic right there.
What about, you see any mountains?
No.
No. We call that the Lake Wales Ridge. That's where Delray Plants is and Lake Placid. Try to understand and protect nature. To sustain something is to keep it going.
Oh, look, guys, there's cowboys up there.
Where? Oh, hi. That is an animal hiding there.
Oh, you
Gosh, look at that.
Oh, man.
3, 2.
Coming out to the lake is usually the kids' favorite thing that we do. Some of them have been swimming in pools before, but most of them have never been in a lake. The kids showed up excited, but not sure what we were gonna do. And we started taking them out hiking and meeting scientists, traveling to different habitats, and they end up loving all of it.
It was pretty much awesome. Because spiders, caterpillars, frogs. I saw a lot of animals, a lot of plants that I didn't know about.
We want to reach out and to give them the great joy of curiosity, of discovering science and of learning about nature. And if we can provide that little opportunity, whether they go on to a career in accountancy or in science, at least they'll have that tremendous moment of connection when nature makes sense to them and science sounds like something really cool to do.
What was your favorite thing about camp?
It was pretty much about everything.
It was my pleasure to take your kids out and introduce them to this land.
Introducirse a este mundo. Te estaba diciendo la niña que ¿sabes dónde queda el país chico? Hartos animales de
So you can come back any day of the week. You can come back and visit and say hi to me.
Gracias por confiar en nosotros con los hijos de ustedes para tener esta experiencia en Estación Biológico de Archbold que fue fenomenal. Gracias. Pretty much thank you for trusting us with your children here at the Biological Station at Archbold for this exhilarating or fascinating experience.
Did anybody feel like a little wet around your eyes? I feel so proud of the work we're doing every time I see that video. I get all choked up. I've seen it like 15 times, that still happens to me. The video actually does a really good job of already talking about some of the ways that we customize things and partner. But here are the 5 visitor obstacles that we identified and found ways to help our visitors get around these. And it would sound great if I said, oh, we had all this figured out before we even started planning it, and before we even called Delray up, but that is not the truth. We knew about some of these. We knew cost, transportation, we knew there'd be some issues with language. You know, we knew some of these things were problems, and some of these things we all know are problems already. But having Delray right there to talk to us, to explain, well, if we change the hours, then transportation won't be an issue because they're already coming to work and they're just right down the street from here. So having them as a partner was very helpful. And some things we just learned right as we started. So I'm going to walk through these 5 here and see what we did to get around it. So cost, we found a donor, offered the whole thing for free. The donor was someone that we already knew, and he had said to us, if you have a special project, call me and ask me what I can do to help. And that's what we did. And he didn't even think twice. It sounded like such a good idea that he did it. We extended the hours, and I already mentioned this, and Delray, you can see, you can drive south on Old State Road 8 and go past. When you're thinking for your organization, is there some place that's nearby, or maybe you could hold your program close to the community you're trying to get to? The children that came here, they all spoke English just fine. That wasn't a problem. But most of their parents did not. Some spoke no English at all. Delray translated all of our registration materials into Spanish for us. Just free of charge, they did that. And they got all the families signed up, scanned it all, and sent it to me as one big PDF. Boom, I had 20 kids right there. It was really, really nice. I didn't put it on here, but you saw at the end of the video, we did a pizza party for the family, and you saw that we had a Spanish translator. That was Christina, an employee here. Now, this was really lucky for us that we had her here as an employee. She would come over every day at the end of the camp as parents showed up to converse with them, because I don't speak any Spanish. And that was really good because we really wanted the families to feel very welcome when they came here. Nutrition was one we kind of knew about. We knew we'd be providing some free meals, but we quickly realized that those meals should really be nutritious. During our other summer camps, we don't always think about that so much. We think more about, okay, we just got to get these kids something for a snack. We don't provide breakfast and we don't provide lunch. So we did fresh eggs and brought in lots of bananas, and I taught kids how to put peanut butter on bananas, and that was the first time they'd ever done that. It was great. So they could think, they could have those needs met. You have those physical needs that you need before you can get to the higher level. The pizza party was what we did to really address the attitude obstacle, which is that even though these people are our neighbors, these families live right around here, they didn't know they could come here. They didn't know that they were welcome here at Archbold. We really wanted them to feel welcome and for them to feel like we appreciated that they gave us their kids for a week. And, their kid could have gotten eaten by an alligator or something, These families, they don't have a lot of experience out at Archbold, and yet they trusted us to do that. So we really tried really hard to make them feel like we were thankful for them allowing us to do that. Let's take a couple minutes for some questions. We also have Hillary Swain here. She said hi to you earlier, but her and I worked really closely on this, and it was actually, I can't take the credit, she was the one who came up with the idea.
It only took me 20 years.
So, do you want to come up here, Hillary? Let's take like just a couple of minutes.
Did you do your pizza party at the beginning or beforehand or at the end?
We did that at the end so we could show the slideshow, give all the kids their t-shirts, and the parents could watch all those photos of their kids like doing
It was like a little awards ceremony almost for the kids.
Yeah, it was an award ceremony. So the question was, did we do a pizza party at the beginning or the end? We did it at the end.
You said you had 20 kids. Is that how many kids were there, or did you were only able to take?
There were a couple of kids that didn't show up, so we're supposed to have a couple more than 20. I don't want to get into too many details, but we capped how many kids we could have. We were able to put on a camp for every kid that wanted to come from those 300 families. We did a couple of different things to make it happen, but we did.
Was this just this past summer, and are you going to repeat this again, or is this going to be something to continue?
The question is, will we do this again next year? I'll put my boss on for that.
Yes. I don't need to buy. Yeah, we'd like to. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get. Actually, if anything, I'd be willing to do 2 weeks if we could do it. Although Dustin pointed out he would like a break. I think it's something that a donor finds very appealing. So I can either go back to the same donor. Part of this is TLC of the donor. They get the video, send them the photos. The camp's going really well. We're just so grateful. So. Another part is making the donor feel incredibly good about that. So if he opts for 2, then we'll do a couple of camps, I think.
2 questions. Did you do this camp separate from your other summer camps that you have?
We had 5 weeks of our normal camp, and they included, all kinds of kids coming to those. But because this camp was so customized, it was a private camp for the families of Delray.
Okay, so that's why you chose to do it separately?
Yeah, because they were not going to be able to get to those other camps.
But, the other kids aren't coming in at 7:30 in the morning, so it was really customized for them. And I think to some extent, maybe gave them, there was some comfort level in going with kids that they already knew, so there's not that isolation feeling with another camp. We did have a couple of non-Hispanic kids from the Delray who joined them as well. One, So, but they knew each other, so or they knew of each other. So I think it gave them a comfort level as well.
I want to say that is a really good question, and we talk a lot amongst ourselves about what types of impression you give out if you, here's a bad word for it, if you segregate people, right? And you could look at it in a very positive way. Look, they got their own camp. But you can also look at how come they're not in with the other kids. I don't have an answer for that. In the practical sense, that's what made sense. Yeah. And there was that level of community that was really nice.
I think the other thing is, Randy Guild, who's the CEO at Delray. When I first called him, he said, he actually agreed to it almost instantaneously. But he said, Hillary, I think this could be really important. He said many of the people who work for us would not think their children were good enough to go to Archbold. It wouldn't even occur to them to apply for their camp. So, in some ways that attitude is not really, it's a much bigger problem than that. It's sort of this position of not feeling like they're even entitled to this. And doing it through the workforce and coming as a community, I think somewhat alleviated that. Or at least it broke down the barrier. We have tried for a very long time. I don't know if Dustin told you, we've always had scholarships available and just found it incredibly difficult to recruit Hispanic or African American children into our camps, even though they are 28% of our school system and 19% relatively Hispanic, 28, African American, 19, not present in our summer camps, in fact, except a few individuals.
Yes, we have that same problem.
And that's the problem we wanted to overcome. This worked. Yeah.
I just like to,
us that the Latinos have we are not only a workforce culture, but also it's important to incorporate the social component in trying to build a better community as we try to build a better environment. So, thank you.
So what recommendations, we appreciate that, what recommendations would you give us? I mean, I'm aware of this sort of, partitioning and, having them. Would you criticize that or say this is a good way to start?
No, I think it's great. I think the fact, when I said that very few organizations or non-organizations offer this type of program, I thank you guys for doing this. We need more and more people thinking out, thinking a little bit more further than that. Even for economic growth, it's a huge potential. Based on 2010 census, Lee County has 17% of Latino communities, which is over 120,000 Latinos. Collier County is only 20%, but it's around 90,000, 100,000 Latinos. And I don't remember the facts of the percent of the other counties, but if you see along those two counties, it's a large percent that has been isolated about environment. There are few programs which target specifically Latino communities, and I think as we are now living here, we are breathing the same air, using same water, using everything. We are here. We enjoy everything here. We need to be educated as well. So that way, not only our children who have no problem with English, but as parents, we need to take it because everything starts at home and families. So we need to educate children about environmental protection stems early stage in their education.
I just wonder, the one thing that I think the two really important things for us is we did not patent this idea. We want every single one of you to go back home and take this idea. This is our Archbold franchise. Go for it. And the second thing is to really emphasize that the business community here was such an effective partner. I mean, they did a lot of heavy lifting for us, so identifying a local business is critical to making this happen. We tried churches.
I work with the Environmental Protection Agency, and I'm so happy they are looking at this important fact of reaching our Latino communities, I think minority communities, and I would love to work with you guys in a closer way. We are trying to incorporate, to have more available environmental education programs for Latinos in many interactive ways, not only for the children, but also for adults. So we provide this type of tours and kind of that. That's why we would like to work.
Yeah, we can talk later, and Hillary's here, so when we take a break later, you can talk. Yeah. We're just about out of time. We don't have time to do the full thing. I was going to give you 5 minutes to think about your own organization, but is there anybody that's during the talk was thinking, oh, there's a business that I could work with that wants to share that with us?
I've been approached by Sarasota Audubon here, just opened the Nature Center, and they've been talking for 2 years. And they don't have time to do a full summer camp program, but they want to work with the Nation community, which is a predominantly Black community, and get them out and run a keynote for them. So I probably will be in touch with you about how this all can work. And it's very interesting to hear about the nutritional end of it. That probably is really key. And the other thing is transportation. We have to provide transportation.
Yeah.
It's not far, but a lot of them don't have cars, so we were kind of fortunate.
Transportation was always, we always assumed that was the biggest issue. So getting them on the way to work, when we were just so lucky, it worked out like that.
And anybody else that had an idea?
The video is on our YouTube channel. Did you tell me?
The video is on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Archbold Biological Station. There's other videos on there too. I'll say that Delray Plants is the one that paid for the video. Wasn't the original donor. But we said, don't you think it would be great if you had a video showing how great your partnership was? And they just jumped on it, and now when they go to Home Depot or go to those other places, they say, watch this video first, and look at what we do for the community and for our own workers. So it worked out for them for PR, and then we got that great video out of it.
Are you going to let us know who the donor is?
No.
He's our donor.
I'm just intrigued because
So it's a man.
I mean, it costs a lot of money, I'm sure. And it's just,
It's someone we've been associated with for a long
that's
time.
wonderful.
But I can tell you the donation he gave us was $3,000, so it wasn't a huge donation.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's not a...
No, we didn't do it all for $3,000, but that covered most of it.
Yeah, and we didn't do the video for it. I think a realistic cost would have been 4 to 5, and that's what I've asked him for next year.
When you throw the video in there too, about $5,000. But all the extra food we ended up doing was something like an extra $1,000 to do 3 meals.
So I would have said 4,000 would have covered it. You know, just covered the cost.
Yeah.
But Archbold also has, we already have accountants and all those people, so we have that structure in place. It might cost more if you didn't have all of that.
Well, I don't know, one of the great things about that is there was one check instead of the usual nightmare of summer campers, and one form, everybody on one form had to return.
Okay.
Just one quick thought. As far as role modeling is concerned, how about maybe bring in some student interns who are Latino?
We actually tried to we almost did that. If we do it again next year, I hope we are successful with that. We almost had that, and we had the funding, everything, and we just couldn't. There was a couple of students that were going to do it, and it just didn't happen. But if we keep
We did actually have a Spanish-speaking intern who did interact with them. Just wasn't the full-time intern. The kids themselves actually, I know what you're saying, we tried to get a couple of FIU students who work here. It just didn't work out because they've always got summer jobs and things, but we are horribly aware of that. We are bringing in a group next 2 weeks' time from the Ecological Society of America. They're bringing in, I think, 16 Hispanic and African American and Native American students from 4 Florida universities. And we're working very hard to have 6 role models that we're working with them while we're here. So we had a little bit more planning on that one. And yeah, we're very aware of that. It's a big problem at Archbold, and it's a big problem in ecology. So we are trying very hard to, have adequate role models here when we do it.